Hey, everybody, this is Karl Krauskopf. I'm super excited to be in front of you today. Just wanted to take a couple minutes of your time and talk about this upcoming commercial real estate multifamily challenge that I wanted to bring to you guys. And the intent of this is to bring you value from an education standpoint around investments, around the vehicle that I love, which is real estate, that has helped propel me into an entrepreneurial position of taking control over my life, taking control over the ability to generate generational wealth for myself and, more importantly, for others, my clients. And really want to show you and showcase again how you can also whether you're passively investing, whether you're actively investing, if you're in a corporate position or if you're in an entrepreneurial position, how you too can take control over where you are in life and get into a position where you're hyper focused on your wealth, on generating wealth for you, for your family. So that way you can do the things that you love, like travel, spend money on fancy cars, whatever it happens to be. Not me. What I love and what I like to do is travel. I do love traveling. It's been a little bit since we've done a nice extravagant trip, but either way, that's what I love. I've got my wife, Marissa, my daughter, Summer, who's 4 years old, who both are why I love this and why I'm so focused on building a life by design, by using wealth, by using real estate as that vehicle to allow me to do the things and spend money on the things that we enjoy as a family, those shared values. One thing that I really want to spend time on is making sure that I'm bringing value to you as an audience. And the best way for me to do that is by you giving me comments, you giving me feedback around, hey, Karl, I'd really love to hear about your thoughts on X, Y, and Z, whether it's from a current event in the marketplace, what Jerome Powell is doing from an interest rate spike perspective, how we think global and geopolitical environments are impacting not only U.S. based real estate, but also how it might be impacting the local market, Seattle, for instance. And so would really love your feedback to help make this 10-day challenge, this 10-day video onslaught, if you will, valuable for you. So get into the comments, really start providing me some feedback. So that way, again, this can be a worthwhile, because if you're asking the question, chances are there's going to be a bunch of other people that want to ask the same thing, but maybe maybe don't have the courage to do so, or maybe feel like they're impeding and causing too much trouble. So anyway, get in the comments, give me some feedback. I'd love to hear it. A little bit about me real quick is, I spent 10 years in corporate strategy and business development for a healthcare services company where we did some incredibly complex things like changing the reimbursement model for physicians and hospitals. So that way, instead of being paid for on a fee for service standpoint, they were being paid on a fee for value. So making sure that the actual members, the people that they were responsible for taking care of their health, that they had positive and high quality outcomes. And so, that was a huge, convoluted, complex structure between the payers, the insurance companies, and the providers, the payers, the hospitals, the pharmaceutical companies, the durable medical equipment, all of those different players all coming together into this healthcare ecosystem. That, what we were trying to do was, again, change the reimbursement model, which, from a finance standpoint, the CFOs and the operations people didn't really necessarily want to do that, because there was a lot of ambiguity. There was a lot of inherited risk with changing how they got paid. So, spent 10 years in that space. The last 2 years of that was when I discovered and started the self-education process of becoming more entrepreneurial, stepping out on my own and discovering investments and discovering real estate as that vehicle. And wow, it was a wild doozy. Spent about 6 months prior to making my first purchase, bought a duplex, locked up a lot of money. And then from there, realized I can't actually get my money back out. Decided I had to essentially flip my way back into a position of having enough capital to use and generate additional cash. So what I ended up doing was creative financing. I took a loan out on my 401k, which at the time was fine. This was back in 2019. Now, luckily, the market was doing incredibly well. Again, this was a risky position. Don't recommend this, especially now in today's market. But also from a risk standpoint, the 401k loan is not something I would recommend for especially a first time flip. So was tremendously successful in that first time flip, did really well, moved the proceeds of that into 3 new properties, 3 new flips, in which case I ended up doing really well on one of those properties. On another one, I was victim of both myself and the seller were victims of identity theft, where somebody actually came in and stole the identity purported to be the seller, sold the property from underneath the seller to me, and I closed on it, title and escrow. They went through their whole process. We got the property notarized. We got all those things done like a standard transaction. Closed on it, did really well. And all of a sudden, about 2 months later, as I was finishing up putting on a new roof and installing new windows and new siding, what ended up happening is I got a lawsuit. I got a lawsuit saying that, you bought this from somebody who was not actually the seller. So I spent another 3 months going through the process, and turns out, someone sold their identity. And then another one another flip that ended up just taking too long. Long story. Going forward, flipped and moved into development over the course of the last 2 years. Flipped and developed about 30 homes here in the Seattle, the Pacific Northwest. Back in October 2021 is when inflation data started coming out and things started to become hairier, so to speak, from a residential resale standpoint, in which time I decided and I thought to myself, what is an asset class that's going to retain value during a recession in the real estate space? And that particular asset that I liked and I still love was multifamily. So multifamily, historically speaking, is one of the best asset classes to not only retain value, but also to rebound value. And so what I ended up doing was I spent another 5 months in doing a lot of self-education. And that self-education was really geared towards helping me understand how to find, underwrite, and operate a multifamily property in a successful way. So spent about 3 to 5 months, got my first multifamily property, 30-unit apartment complex. I syndicated equity. So I brought in a bunch of family, previous coworkers, primarily other corporate employees who were in the same or similar position to me, where they knew that they had either 401ks or cash saved up, and that they wanted to use that capital to, again, help grow their wealth. So worked with a lot of those investors. We pooled our cash together and we went and bought a 30-unit apartment complex. We're ahead of schedule in terms of stabilizing the property. We were originally anticipating 12 to 18 months. We're coming up on month 9, which we are now going to start recording our stabilized period and reporting it back to the bank. So we expect that we could be fully stabilized by month 12 of owning it. So great news. Start cash flow distributions ideally by the end of this year, within Q4 of 2023. And now I'm working on another 12 units in downtown Seattle. So what I love about multifamily, again, is it's a great hedge. It's a great hedge against recession. It's a great hedge against inflation. And, ultimately these 12-month leases, the typical lease length, allows for, again, a ride and to ride with inflation. So, I think it's one of the best asset classes, something that I love, and I'm going to continue investing in. Again, I want to make sure that these next 10 days are something that I can bring you value, bring you education. So please feel free to ask questions about how do you invest, where you should invest, how do you know who to invest with? That's a big question that I look forward to getting into, is how do you know who to invest with? That's a big one. Again, it's the whole jockey and the horse. You bet on the jockey, not necessarily the horse simile or scenario. So again, Karl Krauskopf, looking forward to bringing you more value this upcoming week. And if you have any questions, comments, please drop them in the comment box, and look forward to helping everybody out. Thanks. Bye.